Hi everyone. I hope you've had a great past week and a half or so, and that your Labor Day weekend went really well. Today's What Sold video is going to cover from August 22nd until the very end of August, the 31st, and everything we sold across all three platforms. We're going to start on Mercari because we actually made sales, which is awesome. We sold this torrid cold shoulder dress for $18.48. That was an offer that someone sent to me and I gladly accepted. I love the lower selling fees on Mercari. As you see, we only got $2.47 taken out of this. Next was this pair of cut from the cloth jeans. These I had listed for like $25, and a buyer reached out to me and asked if I would take 20. I said definitely, and I sent a $20 offer. And you see again, only $2.73 taken out in fees, which is really awesome. Oops. So on Mercari, we profited a total of $23.25. Now moving on to Poshmark. We sold a lot on Poshmark, and we didn't make as much as we did the week prior, but I think that's just because we were running our Labor Day sale for 3 days, or for yes, 3 days. I meant to start it on Friday. I didn't start it until probably around almost noon on Saturday. And I was like, what was I thinking? We went to drop our boys off at my grandma's house so that she and my mom could watch them for a little bit while we went out to eat. Kind of a last little hoorah, last little date before baby gets here on Saturday. And so we dropped him off, and I was sitting on the couch visiting with my grandma. And I was like, oh my goodness, how have I not started my Labor Day sale yet? It's Saturday. What am I thinking? And so I started it on my phone, which is really not the most simple thing to do. I would have definitely rather have been at my computer doing it, but I was able to get it started. And then right away, while we were out at lunch, we started getting sales. So that was awesome. And on Poshmark, I believe I waited until either Sunday or it might have been Monday itself on Labor Day to start the sales. And so a lot of these prices are going to be lower, but I was glad to clear through some inventory. We sold this Grace Elements velvet skirt. It was so pretty. It used to be one of mine, back probably like in high school or something. It sold for $10. And if you wonder about the waterfall sale, I do have a video here posted on how I run my waterfall sales on Poshmark. And again, that will lead to some lower sales, but sales are still good sales to me. A Free People dress sold for $12. I picked it up for 50 cents at a church sale a couple months back, and I didn't realize it had like a hole in it in the back of it. I think it was in the back, like towards the bottom. So I just made sure to mention that and price it lower accordingly. A pair of cut from the cloth jeans sold for $22. You'll see we've been selling a lot of jeans. I just pulled all the solds this morning, and I was like, wow, most like so many of them were jeans. So I guess now that the weather's starting to cool down a little bit, even here in North Carolina, people are starting to pick up some jeans, which is awesome because we have so many. A Carol bed jacket that was new with tags and it sold for 20. Citizens of Humanity jeans, they sold for $28. I was even surprised that skinny jeans are still selling, so that's good news. And also skinny jeans, these D jeans, which is just a brand that you can pick up at like Marshalls or TJ Maxx, and they sold for $20. These I'd had on here for at least a year or so. They were Joe's jeans, and they were boot cut and low rise, so all good things, but I think they had like some wear at the bottom, and it was just an older listing. I might have been able to get maybe 15 or so if I had renewed the listing or something, but it's honestly just not worth it at that point. They sold for 10. These Pilcrow jeans I had just listed maybe a week or so ago, and they sold for 25. A Talbot's cardigan, 18. This was one of two J. Crew swimsuits my mom had given me to sell. They were brand new with tags and plus size, and it finally sold for $40. I'd had this listed for quite a while as well. A Lucky Brand pajama set. I got these as two separate pieces out of our bin at Goodwill in the like pajama lingerie section. So I probably paid about $4 for these, and it only sold for 9. Definitely not something I'd pick up again. Someone bought this sweatshirt and then immediately asked me about combining shipping on a Carol vintage pajama like nightgown. And so I just explained to her, yeah, I can do that. I just will have to cancel this, relist it, and then bundle it with the nightgown if you're interested. And she said yes. So that's what this bundle is here. It was the sweatshirt and then a nightgown. And that sold for $30. A pair of Talbot slim ankle jeans sold for 15. Some Vans, which I'd had listed for like 2 years, I think. And it used to have the background was like whited out like this, which is what I did in some of my older listings. And I used Flip to delist and relist some items just a few days ago instead of photographing new items because I'm getting really tired and I'm getting winded just being so far along right now. And so I thought, why am I going to sit here and put all this new inventory in when I have some stale inventory and all it's going to take is me sitting here maybe editing a couple pictures or rewording a few things, and then I can just relist what I have and hopefully try getting out some of that older inventory. So that's what I've done the past couple of days, and it does count as a new listing on Poshmark. And these like I said have been listed for I think a couple years for $15 and weren't selling. And so I relisted them, same asking price, sent out a 10% off offer for 13 and they sold within the first day that they had been relisted. And lastly was this Old Navy pair of flare jeans. What was kind of too bad was I actually had two of these pairs listed. And a lot of people would like bundle them or like both of them, and then I'd send offers. So it's too bad that they didn't sell together, but it is what it is. And they sold for $12. So our total profit on Poshmark for that time period was like what, a week and a half, about 9 days, was $163.71. Yay. And now we'll move to eBay. Lots of good stuff on eBay. All right, we sold these No Boundaries conductor short alls. These were just something I picked up at Goodwill and thought, oh, maybe I'll wear them. Sometimes I like wearing overalls with my little boys. And I just never did. Sold them for $12. Wasn't a big profit. I think we made like $3 on them, but it's all right. And I did notice this too, which was kind of weird, was that for some reason shipping was should have been 757. That's what the buyer was charged, and we only paid 664. I'm not really sure how that happened because I do weigh everything before it goes out. Um, so I'm not sure what would have cost about $1 difference, but okay. Then we sold a pair of Chico's jeggings in a size 4. 420. Oh no, 420. Okay, I forget because Chico's does the like vanity sizing. So technically, this was like a size 20, and they sold for $20. And here you see the shipping's exact. We paid 757. They were charged 757. So not sure what happened with that last item. And the pair of Torrid leggings that I just listed a few weeks ago, these sold for 19. A Talbot's abstract floral cardigan. This was something my mom gave me to list. I think that some of her Talbot's things I was starting off originally paying $4. Then I went down to paying just like 2 because they're not that big of sellers for me. And it's not really items that she was picking up and sourcing. It was just some stuff from her closet. So I think I probably paid about $2 for this item and it sold for 16. A Zanana as like a fake or faux wrap top sold for 12. This was something I picked up from a Facebook group that I was in for a while, and I bought a bunch of like plus size items from somebody, and I kind of regretted it because I paid like $4 or $5 a piece, and they just really weren't that high of sellers. But you live and you learn. A new with tags horror Halloween kind of themed t-shirt. This was just like something, I'm in a mom group on Facebook and we would exchange for every holiday like themed baskets for the holidays, and this was in a Halloween basket that I received back in October, and it was very tiny. I'm not a medium usually, so I was just okay with getting whatever for it since my cost of goods was pretty much zero, and it sold for $10. A Simply Southern t-shirt. These cost $2.13 out of the bin for like t-shirts at our Goodwill. So low cost of goods. I'm not picking up Simply Southern anymore. This only sold for $8.50. Crown and Ivy scallop shorts. These I picked up from the bins probably a couple years ago, but I just now got them listed. And these shorts do okay. I can usually get about 10 or $15 for them. I did get 15 for these because they were a 22W, so a larger size. A Vermont Country Store pajama set. This would have cost me $2.14 after tax, and this sold for $27. A Susan Graver cardigan cost me $5.55 after tax, sold it for 20. A Michael Kors sweater. I don't know why I didn't put new in the title because you see here has a tag on it. That might have helped it sell better. I'm not sure. Of course, it would have said new tags in the listing. This was an item that sold if you see that 30% discount, which means it sold for our in our Labor Day sale. And I only paid $2 for this at a church sale where everything was $2 and it sold for 21. Next, a tour dress. This was part of the retail arbitrage that I had done, and yeah, it didn't go so well. I sat on that stuff for a long time, but it did sell for $21. Another well, okay, so the other one I say it's another because they are essentially the exact same bed jackets. One is tagged Carol, one is tagged Vermont Country Store. And that's why I think I get so much of the Vermont Country Store and the Carol items at that same warehouse because I think they're just made by the same manufacturer and the tags look exactly the same, but the brand at the top is different. So it's weird. But and the Carol stuff a lot of times will have the tags on them, like the new like retail tags, and the Vermont Country Store stuff doesn't. I'm not sure why that happens, but this sold for $17.50. And a Vermont Country Store flannel nightgown sold for $22.05. And the last thing was this Kingdom Hearts Keyblade of my husband's. We picked this up on half price day at Spirit Halloween, where everything goes 50% off. And so we paid like I think 30, maybe like $20 or something like that. So we had two of these listed over the last couple years, and I would get like a lot of, I guess you could call it like hate mail or something, hate messages sent to me on eBay and Mercari. I didn't really get much on Poshmark, but Mercari and eBay, I would get messages all the time like, you can get this for $40 in the store. You're overcharging by like $60. And I would just, on Mercari, I would just block them. eBay, I think I could, yeah, you can block the username as well. And the other one we had, it was a different style, but it was a Keyblade. It sold for like I think $90. No, 100. It was like 120 or something. It was more than this. Sold for like $120 like last year. And then this one, as you see, sold for 95. And right like the day before someone bought this, I had gotten a nasty message on eBay and someone said, you can get this from Spirit Halloween for $40. And I went and looked just to make sure because I know that Halloween is approaching. They're not selling this Keyblade for $40 anymore. They sold this Keyblade like a year or two ago for $40. It is out of stock. They're not selling it for $40 anymore. So I responded back to him and I said, and yes, it was probably the pregnancy getting to me. I was like, okay, go buy it for $40 then, LOL. And then I just blocked them. And then it sold the next day on an offer for $95. I was like, yeah, okay, see, people are willing to buy it. So don't let that kind of stuff get to you. It got to me a little bit just because I've been dealing with those messages for like a year or two. I'm glad this is finally sold. But obviously, things are worth money that were originally purchased for less because you may not be able to get them anymore. It's like supply and demand. Anyway, they did pay $20. What was so irritating was we had a box that we'd been saving for like a year for when this would finally sell. And then it was just sitting in my husband's office where he does all of the packaging up. And like maybe 2 weeks ago, we had a Walmart return and we didn't have anything it was like a curtain rod or something and nothing it would fit in. There was no boxes we had that would fit in. And so we said, let's just use that Keyblade box that we were going to use. And then, of course, 2 weeks later, here this sells and it's like about the size of a baseball bat, really wide, and it was so awkward and clunky. And so we sat on this for like a few days trying to figure out what we were going to do. I thought maybe we'd have to go buy a box. And then we finally used a box that we found in our garage, but because the dimensions were so large, it ended up costing us an extra like almost $4 than what the buyer was charged. And I was like, forget it. It's not worth me going and buying another box somewhere let's just use what we have. We'll pay the extra $4. Our profit on this is good enough. It'll be fine. And that's what we did. And so in total on eBay, we profited $179.88, which is so great. That's the most that we've made on eBay since January. And if you remember, the last What Sold video, we had made the most on Poshmark that we had made in a week since January. So our sales have been doing really great. So in total, that last from the 22nd to the 31st of August, in total from Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, we profited $366.84. That's crazy. That's 20 bucks more than we'd made the week prior. So obviously things are improving and fall is here. I'm counting fall is here since we are now in September. My fall decorations are already up downstairs. And so hopefully that will mean more and better and higher sales for everybody. Our total profit for the entire month of August was $1,009.31. So we made our goal for probably the first time in a bit. I feel like our goal was $1,000 a month for 2025, and it was a little bit rough with summer, but that's awesome. And if you remember some of our business goals for or resolutions for this new year, one was to hit 1,000 items currently listed, and two was to make $1,000 a month on average. So I know that the summer didn't count, or summer we did not hit that $1,000, but at least we are now starting, and hopefully we'll continue to get the $1,000 a month. And we do currently have 1,000 items listed, at least on Poshmark. So all great things. But that's the end of this video, and we have 4 days until baby gets here, so I'm not quite sure how many more videos or what soul videos I'll be able to do in the next week, but I'm going to try to get something maybe posted before baby comes. We'll see. Wish me luck. All right, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.